Yo, what's up YouTube? Cheen here making another video. Today's video is probably not going to be a super long one. It's going to be more of just a settings video because I get asked that a lot in my streams and stuff like that. So I figured that I would make a video for you guys. That way, if you guys ever want to see my settings, you guys can just open up the video and see what I use. So lately, I've been playing on PC because I probably won't be playing for the rest of this year in the CDL. So I've just been enjoying my time on PC, playing some Warzone on there as the game runs really smooth. So uh, first off, I don't really do anything with the keyboard and mouse settings because I play on controller. So I go over here, change my input device to controller, and then I play on 101 field of view. I just like it. It makes it to where it's not too far out, but I can still see a lot more than I'm used to. So I like that. And then I do change my ADS field of view to affect it. That way, I don't know. I feel like it feels a lot better when I'm aiming in and stuff like that compared to independent. So I stick with that, and it works really well. So I would definitely recommend trying that out. Oops, didn't mean to do that. My brightness, I keep it around like 53, just kind of just in between. Don't need it too bright, too low. This one is actually an important one. I play with my like the heads-up display, like the HUDs or whatever, closer into the screen rather than like in the corners, just because that way it's easier to see on my eyes. I don't have to like look all the way at one corner of my screen to look at my mini map. It's just a little bit closer in. It's personal preference on this one really, but I like it more when it's closer in compared to like zoomed out. And then this is just like normal, just random stuff. Subtitles I've enabled just so I could see what just characters are calling out, because sometimes characters will say stuff on the map that you might not hear, so it's cool to read that. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, oh, this is another important one. The mini map I changed it to square. That way you could see more of what's going on around the map. I think this is a really useful one too to change in your settings. Let's see. Other than that, I mean, everything else is, yeah, just kind of just random stuff. I don't really mess with anything else other than that in the general. Graphics, I have been playing full screen borderless because it's easier to tab in and out of game. I saw, who was it, Blastful? He plays full screen borderless too, so I figured I would try it out, see how I like it. And honestly, I don't really notice a difference between full screen and full screen borderless. So I'm rocking with this right now, so it's nice. Let's see, yeah, just standard 1920 by 1080. Oh yeah, and these are just like my graphics setting for PC. So if you're console, this is kind of just PC stuff. It's not really anything for you guys. But right here I just have like custom frame rate 144, 60, 60. When I'm streaming and playing at the same time, I don't even get close to the 144. So that's that. But yeah, I mean other than that, it's like I just do kind of like normal settings that I found on some other YouTube channel. I do the display gamma 2.2, textures low, texture filter normal, particle quality low. These are all just settings that like if I wasn't streaming and playing on the same PC at the same time, I would probably have higher because I do have a really good graphics card. It's just I want to get the most frames I can out of the game, so I kind of just tend to make it a little bit on the lower side of things. But yeah, just normal shadow map resolution, disable, particle lighting normal. Yeah, these are all just. It's actually like for my build, I actually do get a pretty good amount of frames. I usually get around like 100 to like 120 frames in game while streaming and playing at the same time, so that's really nice. But yeah, this is just like anti-aliasing. I play with the first one, or technically the second one, the first one to the right. Depth of view disabled. Just well, oh yeah, this is another important one, guys. If you guys are playing, is always turn off the motion blur because honestly, it's not worth it to use. It's not a really good setting, and especially in shooters like this, you want to be able to see the game as clear as possible to where you can always get your best kind of, what would I say, like your best viewing experience, I guess you could say. I don't really know. It's like if you have motion blur on, it can kind of distort your view a little bit, and you don't want that. You want to be able to see everything on the map at the exact second like you can. So I would definitely recommend turning motion blur off on both of these. I turned film green down. I think that's kind of another personal preference one. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the graphics. And then audio, this one's kind of important because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't really or can't hear other people as well as they can. This game is really loud. There's a lot of loud things in this game. So I would definitely recommend playing on boost low, because if you play on boost low, I can hear everybody that is anywhere near me if they don't have dead silence. Like if they're running around, sometimes even walking around, I can hear them just close to me, reloading, anything like that. It's actually pretty insane. And then I turn my master volume down to 80 just because it does get really, really loud, and it can be hard to hear my teammates sometimes, so I do turn that down a bit. Music volume I have on 0 just because I don't really care for the like menu music or anything like that. I like it to be more quiet, so I turn that down. Dialogue volume effects, I just keep it 100. Juggernaut music, I play only Warzone, and you can't even get the Juggernaut on that, so I guess that doesn't really matter. I play with classic hit marker sound. Let's see, voice chat. I usually actually have this enabled. I had it turned off yesterday because there was somebody on my team who was really loud, so I turned that off for a second, but I usually have that on. Yeah, and this is just normal, just microphone effects and stuff like that. Make sure you do turn voice chat effect to no effect at all, though, because it can sound a little weird if you have it on the other settings. Yeah, pretty much other from audio. Definitely recommend boost low, though. For sure, really, really good to be able to hear people, footsteps and stuff like that around the map. Alright, so this one is mainly for Warzone only. Kind of, this one could help console players too. The only difference I would say in this compared to console is the dead zone is a little bit different, but it is the default dead zone for PC. So on console, I do play on the default dead zone on console for PS4, which is 0.05. So I recommend just keeping dead zone on default if you can. Obviously, if you're getting a little bit of stick drift, I would recommend turning it up to where you don't get it anymore. But this is just one thing I want to point out right away before I really get into this. So, for my button layout for just BR, I do it in multiplayer too, but I play a tactical flip. So, instead of shooting with my triggers right here, shooting my triggers right here, I shoot with my bumpers right here. It's just, I like it more. It's just easier and more comfortable for me to hold my controller, so I play with that. And then the tactical part is I slide with my right trigger. So when I click this in, it will allow me to slide and crouch and stuff like that. I think it's easier on me just because I don't ever have to get my hand off my right stick. I like it a lot. I think it works really well. And then the melee button is circle. I have a back paddle, so I just click it. I just click my back paddle on the melee. But yeah, I like tactical flip just because it's easy to have your movement down while also being able to aim, and also I just like bumpers more than triggers. That's my main reason for using it. And then stick layout, I just play default. I don't really mess with any of that. I do play with inverted look on. It's something I've always played with. So basically what inverted does is down is up and up is down. I know it's kind of like, it's a weird thing to hear if you're not used to it or you've never heard of somebody who plays on it. But it's something I've always done. A lot of the old shooter games back in the day, they had like inverted kind of like automatically on. And that's what my dad played. So whenever I would want to play when I was younger, my dad would say, yeah, you can play, but you can't change my settings. And honestly, looking back on it, I think he probably did it because he thought I wouldn't want to learn how to play inverted. But honestly, I was a little kid who really wanted to play video games, so I learned how to play inverted, and I've just stuck with it ever since. I've always played inverted since then, and yeah, like I said, it's normal to me. Like when I play, I don't notice any difference at all, and I'm sure it if somebody I probably feel exactly the same way you play like somebody who plays default, like who doesn't play inverted. It's probably honestly exactly how it feels to me. It's not like I'm like a way smarter person or anything because I do it. It's just normal. And then lately, this is all just personal preference for the sensitivity. I personally have been playing on 8.8 in Warzone because I feel like it's just kind of easy to shoot, and it's nice to be able to move around the map or look everywhere quicker and it be just really fast paced. Because I do like to play like really aggressive and try to get those high kill games. So I feel like 8.8 is really good for me. But honestly, this is personal preference. I would definitely recommend playing on something that's comfortable to you. Just because 8.8 is comfortable to me and it allows me to play really well, it doesn't mean that it will make somebody else watching like video or anybody else drastically improve by upping their sensitivity or lowering it. It's all personal preference at the end of the day, and it's whatever suits you. So if you're more of like playing like a 5.5 or even if you play on like 1313. If it suits you, it suits you. You know, just play on whatever you're comfortable on, and I'm sure you're playing fine. I just like to play 8-8 because that's just where it's like kind of like my sweet spot right now. I do change a lot. I won't lie. I do go from like sometimes I'll play on 10-10. Sometimes I'll play on 6-6. It's honestly just depending on how I'm feeling or how warmed up I am during the day. But most of the time I like to stay around the 8-8. It's just where I'm comfortable at. And then I keep these both on 1. If I go down to a lower sense, sometimes I'll up my sniper zoom, but I don't really snipe that often, so I'm just not messing with that too much. My response curve, I play on dynamic. Controller vibration, I play with disabled. I just don't like the vibration anymore. I used to when I was younger, but not really my thing over the past couple of years. But the stick curve, this is it's kind of important, but it kind of isn't. I mean, it's all if you're really into like the whole trying to get the best you can out of everything. But I personally prefer dynamic. I'm pretty sure dynamic is the one where it's you start moving faster when you turn your stick, so it goes fast and then it slows down a bit. So that way it's kind of like evened out, I would say. It's like really it's easy to like snap on a target or move around on a target in my opinion. With dynamic, I personally like it a lot. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it's the best one. It's another thing. It's just personal preference. I know a lot of players like standard, but a lot of players also like dynamic. Linear is one of those ones where it's kind of tricky. It goes exactly where your stick is, kind of. So it is good if you're used to it. I won't lie. Linear probably would be the best one if you can get used to it. But personally, for me, I more so like it to where it's not always where my stick is at every single time because sometimes I can be a little off. So I do like to play in dynamic just to kind of help me out a little bit. But aim assist, I play standard. Scale aim assist to FOV, I play with it on. Weapon mount, just normal ADS plus melee. Yeah, everything else is kind of the same here. I will say I do change something. Oh yeah, so contextual tap is really good for Warzone multiplayer. I don't use it in multiplayer, but for Warzone it's really good. It allows you to pick up objects and open things just by pressing square. You don't have to hold it, which is really nice. And I think it's something that if you are playing Warzone and you're trying to get better, I would definitely recommend using that. Slide behavior, I would 1000% recommend everybody switch to tap. It is a lot better than hold. It reacts faster and it's a lot easier, so you don't get as many dead slides. So basically, what tap to hold is kind of like contextual tap is instead of having to hold your right stick down or your button down, you just tap it and it'll immediately slide for you, really quick and easy. Helps your movement out a lot. And then another one is I play with automatic tactical sprint. It allows me to go around really fast around the whole map, especially in Warzone. And I honestly don't think there's really a downside to it. I mean, it is a lot harder to walk, but I mean, honestly, if you're walking, you might as well be crouching if you're using tac sprint. So, yeah, I use tac sprint. It allows me to get around the map quicker, and it really helps with my movement to be able to, slide around corners fast or just get out of a situation really quick too, which is why I like using it, honestly. But yeah, that's pretty much all my settings. I don't really have anything else. I hope that this video could help anybody who's watching it. I know it's kind of just like a random one-off settings video, and I usually been uploading gameplays recently, but I've been getting asked about it a lot in my streams, so I figured I would make a YouTube video on it real quick and show you guys what I use. I don't really ever change any settings besides my sensitivity. Everything else usually stays the same. But yeah, guys, I hope this video helped you guys. I hope you guys can take something from it and maybe apply it to yours. But yeah, I try to explain everything as much as I could. And I'm sorry if it does get a little bit long. I'll try to divide it into parts. That way you guys can skip to it at any point in the video. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys liked the video, please make sure to leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next YouTube vid. Peace out, my dudes.